Hello, my name is Nigeria Chambers of Big Gold Belt Media. Jasmine, congratulations for season two. This season has already been a roller coaster. And much like the first season, we're going to tackle difficult conversations, and we're going to add this artistry alongside of it, but we're not going to lose focus of exactly the topics that need to be had. I would love to know from you as an actor who obviously lives in this world, but also playing this character. Just how do you kind of mesh between the two? And at times, do you carry Ashley at home with you?
Oh no. Oh my God. I think if I carried Ashley at home with me, I'd absolutely explode. I keep Ashley at work, although in the very in intense and honest and emotional scenes that she has, I do kind of take my own time. I use the same technique that I would use, I think, in theater. And the show is a very theatrical show. A lot of the people that created the show and are in the show have theater background as well. And I think you can kind of see that in our storytelling as well. But yeah, it is a wild ride of a show. And even though we have all of these undertones of really important issues, it is a comedy. And so we kind of come to the table of real life, because I think in the middle of a laughter and in the middle of a cry, there's always kind of the opposite. You can go through like the most traumatic experience, and somebody might say a joke to like lighten up the mood, or something really amazing can happen at the same time as something really traumatic can happen. That is life. That is a real thing. And so to kind of hold both up in the air like this feels one of the most like real things to me that we do in this show. Because it's almost like you can't have one without the other. And so it is, a bit of a challenge, but that kind of comes with the territory of the show. That's how it was built in the beginning. Is we're always really at the line of comedy and drama, and that mostly is taken care of with the awesome writing of the show.
Thank you.
And just a reminder, everybody, if you have a question, just to use the hand raise button. If it's not working for you, just kind of flag me in the chat or whatever, I can note it. We will pop over to your web next.
Hi, Jasmine. Emerald Marie with UR Web. Thank you so much for your time today. So I got to speak to Helen Hutt earlier about the relationship between Rainey and Ashley, but I'm curious to know just how do you feel with the growth of Ashley and Trish heading into season two? It's been a roller coaster ride, like you said, and I think the show shows so much the societal issues that are occurring, but when it comes to family, which is something we all can relate to, whether it's mother and daughter-in-law, the sister-in-law situation, what do you want viewers to take from that?
Well, it's all a tough love, right?
Yes.
Actually, Trish is like a younger sister to Ashley. They have so much history together. And I'm sure there was one point where, Trish really wanted to be like Ashley. They grew up together. They know so much about each other, and especially in Trish's, childhood.
Right.
I'm sure there's many times where Ashley watched Trish, when she was little, you know what I mean? And so Trish is trying to grow into her own, all the time. And Ashley's kind of, really established herself with Miles at this point. And I think, the backstory is, I think, right after they had Sean, a lot changed. They moved out of the neighborhood. They got all responsible, and I think probably a lot of like the relationship changed with many people. And so the thing with, Trish and Ashley is like, they're both really strong women, and Ashley wants to raise her kid how she wants to raise her kid, and she wants her family, and Trish wants to do what she wants to do, and so they're constantly battling, but under all of that is so much love for each other. And I just think it's their communication is off. They trigger each other, they push each other's buttons, but that's a very real thing in family. That's such a family thing to do. It's like there's so many, you can love a family member so much, but every time you get around them, they'll trigger you, or you're just like, oh yeah. And it's just their relationship. But it's I remember I said I'd really just also love in the second season to see some of that love there a little more. And so I think in the beginning in season 2, we do get to see that. We do get to see a little bit more of their friendship. Takes a little turn, but we get a little taste of the actual love that they do have for each other,
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And next up we have Erin with Fangirlish.
Hi. So my question is that listening to you, it sounds like your character has learned a lot on the show, but my question is for you, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned about yourself from the show or from your co-stars? And what do you hope is the legacy that you leave them with?
Ooh. Sorry. No. This show constantly pushes me as an artist. It's what this role asks that of me. And so whether it's learning how to ride a horse for the first time for the Western episode, it's getting, 2 of my verses the day before. And so I have less than 24 hours to learn some of the most pivotal points and, emotional arcs of Ashley's story. And so it's like this kind of running joke. I turn to Rafa and Diggs and I'm just like, I don't know if I can do this. And they're like, yeah, you can. I think every time I kind of doubt myself or I feel like I can't do something, I always kind of prove to myself that I can. And I think I grow so much as an artist every time I rap on a season, because it's asked of me, it's required of me to think outside the box and to push to expand my horizons and of my potential. And it's scary, it's terrifying, and it's also so gratifying. And so I think some of the best pieces that do that to an artist, you see, in the piece, and that's what makes it great. So as far as my legacy, I think I just want to make work that is inspiring and means something, and with the show, it's being able to put emotion to people that sometimes can feel like just a number or a piece of information that you see on Twitter or the TV. And so it's our job to attach emotion to these characters who are actual real people in America and deal with this a lot. And so if you can kind of bring some understanding because you get to find out a person and can connect to them emotionally, I've done my job.
And next we'll head over to Shall I Stream It? Matt?
Hi, Jasmine. So some of the most memorable moments in the show are when your character breaks the fourth wall and enters into the spoken word performances. So I wanted to know from your perspective as an actress, what it was like to get to give this performance that kind of crosses different mediums.
It's one of my favorite things that Ashley does in the show. And one of my favorite shows and Rafa's favorite shows is Fleabag. And I think there's a little inspiration from that show there. I mean, there's inspiration from many shows and you know, from all over in this show. It's so hard to define, right? Like we cover so much ground of storytelling. But as terms as when we talk about Ashley's heightened verse, I always put pressure on myself because I'm not a rapper. You know, everybody that writes these heightened verses, they have background in, you know, they're poets. They do spoken word and they're rappers, all of them, the three of them, Rafa, Benjamin, and David. And they're the ones that write the verses. And so you know, they always say to me, don't even worry about that, like approach it like a Shakespearean monologue. And so that's how we always approach it. And, you know, we kind of vision them as these love letters to Sean as he gets older. And he'll go back to these verses and read them so he can kind of understand the emotion and what Ashley was going through at the time when he was little and didn't understand. And so I keep that in the back of my mind and, you know, make sure that it doesn't feel like this performance. And now Ashley's going to perform. That's not what it is. It's actually, this is the most real you'll see Ashley ever, you know? And so like, my job is to make sure that it doesn't feel like I'm on this like soapbox, but I'm actually saying these secrets to the audience. I'm being very intimate and letting you know something. And while I'm doing it, you see the thoughts happen as like they're happening. I'm taking the beats. And it isn't this performance. It's the opposite. It's this very intimate, emotional, and one of the most honest places you'll ever see Ashley in the show.
And we have time for one last question, so we're going to wrap it up with Najir.
Thank you, Najir, again, of Big O Belt Media. So, Jasmine, you know, when you're the lead of the show, the fans, we get to see a lot and appreciate what you do on screen. But I just wanted to take a moment to kind of shed the light behind the cameras, because as you are the on-screen mom for Sean and played wonderfully by Atticus, we're watching him grow into the star he is. I would love if you can just take a second just to talk about, you know, filming with him and just seeing him really come into his own.
Oh my God, it's wonderful. I almost feel like he's my kid. You know, it's just like you just have this pride, you know. I've never been a child actor, and I have no idea what that is like. And so, you know, you always want to be careful in terms of, you know, they are still just a kid. And so you have these intense moments with them. And then, you know, you want to make sure that you're playing patty cake with them and laughing with them and joking with them and making them feel comfortable. And so watching Atticus when I first met him to like filming season 2, he killed it. He really, really killed it. And, you know, he's just getting older and he's understanding things more. And you see that in his performance. You just see his maturity and his understanding of the world as he gets older, and that, you know, that plays out into his performance. And he's also just good, you know, he's getting his reps in, he's getting, you know, more time. We're all so proud of him. We love him, and he's the best.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful.
And thank you all for joining us for this today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.